Hi, thanks for tuning in today. After I made this video, I realized there were some other things I wanted to say. There is a video that's out that's been done by Dr. Daryl Burling that discusses how to pick a Greek New Testament. It's a really good video, so I'll leave that in the description. The difference in this video, so I've got a little bit more emphasis on the different available options for people who are interested in the Byzantine tradition. But I didn't even mention like the SBL Greek New Testament. So in a future video, what I want to do is kind of explore the differences between your various critical texts that are available. And also, I'm going to give you, at the end of this video, my top 5, my favorite Greek New Testaments. So this video will kind of serve as an overview, and it's especially directed towards people who are interested in the Byzantine tradition. If you're not, there's still stuff here for you. I discuss some of the various critical texts. But like I said, I want to do some future videos exploring kind of zooming down and showing the differences between some of the Byzantine line, and also another video zooming down and showing the differences between some of those in the critical line. So anyways, just wanted to give that brief preface, and I hope you enjoy this video. So there's a lot of different options out there. So let me just try to simplify this. There are Greek New Testaments that follow where I would think the majority of scholars land today, and that's in having something like an eclectic text or a text that's derived from a number of different early manuscripts, and that would form sort of the critical text. In that line, you have like I've got before me now, which is the Tyndale Greek New Testament. There's the Nestle Aland text, and also there's the UBS Greek New Testament. These are also, there's the Westcott and Hort that you can still buy, that's still available, and these are what's been called the critical text, and that's favored by the majority of scholars. There is also the Textus Receptus, and right now, this is one that I have here. This one's getting harder to get. Right now, the Textus Receptus, generally the easiest place to be able to purchase one has been on the Trinitarian Bible Society website, but I think they're selling out of them right now. But that's one of the other options. I'm sure they'll get it back here sooner or later. And then the other option that you have is something like the majority text platform, which would be manifest in either the Hodges and Farstad text, which is the majority text here, or the Robinson and Pierpont text. So you've got, to simplify, you basically have two categories. Like the critical text is favored by the majority of scholars, or the Byzantine text, which is favored by the majority of your manuscripts. That may be a little bit misleading because the majority of our manuscripts are much later than some of the testimony that the critical text has followed. But that's a complicated subject. Just to simplify it a little bit, know that the differences between those two are, I think, important, but they're not, it's, how do I say it? I guess what I'm trying to say is that the difference between the majority text or the Byzantine text and the critical text is going to be something like the difference between your King James Version and your ESV. Something like that, if you're trying to compare, differences. If you're following along in the King James Version Bible while someone's reading the ESV, ignoring the archaic language, maybe it'd be easier to say it this way. It'd be like the difference between your English Standard Version and your New King James Version. If you were, trying to compare the two, you're going to have little differences here and there. Some of them are more important than others. There's some fairly significant ones, but for the most part, they're pretty similar. Okay, so you'll have to make a decision whether you're going to go with a majority of scholars or you're going to have to go with a majority of manuscripts, which tend to be much later. So for the purposes of this video, I can't really adjudicate that here for you. But that will be kind of your first choice. Now you can take a a middle of the road position and try to get a Greek New Testament that reflects both the Byzantine tradition and the critical edition. If you do that, you're going to be looking at, I've got 3 options to talk to you about today. Well, really 4. I've got 4 in front of me right here. If you want something that's going to display the Byzantine text and the critical text, here's one option right here. This has been rebound. You can't buy it like this right now. But this has the critical text, the Westcott and Hort text, above the line. And in the apparatus, it gives you the differences between itself and the Byzantine text. Here's another option, the Scrivener's Annotated Greek New Testament. It's hard to find this leather bound right now, but it gives you the Textus Receptus, which for the most part, 98% of the time, it's just the Byzantine, same as the Byzantine readings found in the majority of manuscripts. It will, in your main text, it will give you the Byzantine or Textus Receptus reading, and then it'll have variants from the critical text from itself. The Hodges and Farstad text probably does this of well-bound Greek New Testaments. It probably does this better than just about any other. There's one other that's available that does even a better job than that, but it's just kind of a paperback that's available in it. But this one will give you the variance between itself, a true Textus Receptus text, and the critical text, and also the Byzantine text form that's been put together by Dr. Maurice Robinson. It will also, in its main text, give you the Byzantine text, and in the bottom here, it will show you the variance between itself and the critical text. So, in a way, I guess you don't have to make a final determination. There's texts that are available that gives you both. One of the ones that, in my opinion, that gives will give you just the critical text for the most part is just this Tyndale Greek New Testament. It will give you just the critical text, and not a lot of the variants from the Byzantine tradition are listed. So that may be a lot to take in. So how do you make a decision? Well, what I would encourage you to do is decide for yourself what's going to be important for you in a Greek New Testament. If you're looking for something that's going to hold up for a long time, try to make sure you get one that is semi-sewn. That is, it has a sewn binding and not just a glued binding. So there's some options out there that are available. All the UBS, Nestle Aland, and the Tyndale Greek New Testaments, the Anchor Cross Byzantine text here that I'm displaying, it has a good sewn binding. I would encourage you to go make sure you get a sewn binding. And then later on, there's not too many Greek New Testaments that you can buy that are already leather bound. This is one of the few. So if a leather bound is a absolute must for you with a true leather, the Tyndale Greek New Testament is almost the only option that you have until the Trinitarian Bible Society again puts out their black calfskin Textus Receptus Bible. It's not out right now. You can't find it. You can't buy it. So if you've absolutely got to have a leather bound one, then you pretty much have to go with the Tyndale Greek New Testament. But so if you don't know which text you want to go with, don't rule out the possibility of rebinding like a hardbound one. Just make sure, like I said, make sure you get a sewn binding. Those are going to last you so much longer. But you can always get it rebound. You can buy one that's a little bit cheaper on the front end, and then if you fall in love with it and that's going to be your Greek New Testament, you can get it rebound later on. Some people are going to be curious about the font size, and I've reviewed so many different Greek New Testaments out there. A couple that I haven't, that maybe I probably should have, is the Nestle Aland and the UBS, and that's just because they're just so many people have these, and there's tons of reviews of those out there, so you can find those online as well. But some people are going to be concerned about the margin space, about the font size, and all of that. I would say, if you're not sure, maybe start out with a hardbound one, get it rebound, make sure you get a good sewn binding, look at some reviews online, make sure the font size is going to be acceptable for you. And so lastly in this video, what I want to do is kind of give you my 5 favorite Greek New Testaments. This is in no particular order, it's not a countdown, and I can give you my 5 favorites and kind of narrow it down from there. So one of my favorites is this Robinson Pierpont text, done by Anchor Cross Publishing. It's a very nice sewn binding, very, very compact, and I just really love it. So I've got a review of this you can find on my YouTube page. I also like the Tyndale Greek New Testament, Brown Cowhide. I just did a very thorough review of that. Third one I'll talk about today, again, this is no particular order, is the Scrivener Greek New Testament. It's hard to get in leather bound right now, but you can find the paperback. I also really like the Hodges and Farstad text. It's another one that I've also reviewed in detail, but it's one of my favorites. And it's the problem with it right now is it's out of print, and that means the price is a little high on these right now. And the last one that I'll mention, this is one that I actually had rebound. I absolutely love this Greek New Testament. I wish that I wish the primary text was actually a Byzantine text, but it's actually a Westcott and Hort. But it gives me the variance between the critical text, the Westcott and Hort text, the Nestle Aland, and the Robinson Pierpont text. So it's basically like a 3-in-1 Greek New Testament. But all 5 of these, well, 4 of the 5 of these rather, give you both the more of a Textus Receptus or Byzantine line and the critical readings. The one that doesn't is this Tyndale Greek New Testament. So for that reason, of the 5, only this one right here would probably never become my primary edition, and that's because I just got this real strong interest in the Byzantine manuscript tradition. So, I'm in a minority on that. A lot of people aren't concerned about that, so that's not going to make any difference to them at all. So I feel like I've sort of failed in not in making this process completely simple for you, but I think it comes down to each individual. It's just like picking out a Bible. Everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's going to have different things that they're looking for, but in the end, I would encourage you, one thing I would say is try to get a well-built Greek New Testament, and make sure before you make the investment for a leather-bound one that you're going to be happy with the text that you get, and don't rule out the option of rebinding, because that will open up a lot of different options for you. So I hope in some small way that is helpful to you and helps you in your journey in selecting a Greek New Testament.